First we had bezels, smaller bezels, a notch, a pop-up camera, punch holes, and now we have this. This is the Galaxy Z Fold 3 review. First of all, I want to say that I am in love with this phone. Even though it may not be perfect, I don't need perfect. I need greatness. So first off, let's talk about the main thing about this device. The display. So when you were watching other reviews, you're like, oh, it's only a 7.6 inch display. This is like not really as big as a tablet. Not really gonna notice much. Wrong, you're gonna notice so much. So this browsing, like doing anything on this phone, it feels like you're getting way more than what you would on a traditional smartphone. And Samsung has done a great job of optimizing everything. So as you can see, the settings, we have this instead of just one big like settings layer. But third-party apps, you can't really say the same. So opening up YouTube here. Okay, I swear it wasn't like this before. All right, so apparently the YouTube app goes from like phone mode to tablet mode. So right now this is like phone mode. So now we see the community posts because community posts have not come out to tablets yet. But YouTube thinks this is a tablet sometimes. So as you can see now that we open the phone, we see what I was trying to tell you before. So how you're normally gonna see this phone is basically like this. All right, so the thumbnails are way too big. They're just way too big. And when you switch to the cover screen, everything is way too small. It's the same thing with Instagram. Like viewing pictures like this, not very pleasant, but when you open it, everything is way bigger, but you know, it's like too big, you know? Like you can't even view a full image without like, you know, scrolling like that. Okay, this one you can't see, for example, but and this as well. You know, it's just kind of finicky, you know. The Fold isn't like something new. Like we've had a Galaxy Fold since 2019. How come apps still aren't optimized? That's my question. But I don't really let it bother me too much because it's not really that big of a deal. Because watching videos, it's a whole new story. So as you can see, this is before I even cropped in. When I crop in, you get this. And this is a really, really great way to watch videos. I mean, not always though, because sometimes it crops too much, like here, for example. But for example, here, you know, like I would be perfectly fine watching that. And the display is just amazing. The 120 hertz, the AMOLED, just a great display overall. And Netflix does a way better job of cropping that display. As you can see, I don't know how they do it, but I can pretty much crop every single show and movie I watch, and it's like gonna be fine. YouTube, if you're watching this, you need to do what Netflix is doing, because this is a Netflix beast. And the crease doesn't really bother me too much. Like if I'm watching a video in direct sunlight, you're gonna see the crease, which is a bit of a disappointment because it kind of breaks the illusion of having a giant screen inside your pocket. And you can feel it as well, but not as much as you think. When I want to put my pattern, it always goes on the crease, which is like, it doesn't really feel that comfortable to use the crease or touch the crease. But I'd say overall, it's really not a big deal, especially when you remember that the crease is for this, basically, you know? Like, you know what you're getting into when you buy one of these. But it shouldn't really bother you to the point where it's unusable, like definitely not. You could always just use the cover screen, and it is narrow, like I'll admit, it is a bit too narrow. I don't know why they can't just make it a bit wider, but I have no problems using the screen like for basic stuff. Like if I want to send a quick text, use an app real quick, or maybe even watch a video. Like watching videos on this is pretty funny. Like if I watch videos like this, just who does that? Like it's just really tiny. But you can also watch like this, right? Just look at these huge black bars, and when I crop it in, yeah, it's even worse. But it's not a terrible way of watching videos, but it's not the best. So everything is either too big for you or too small on this phone. But you do get used to it, so again, it's like not a deal breaker. And I have big hands, I'm used to heavy phones and unusually sized phones, so holding it for me doesn't really bother me. Also drawing on this thing, I have the S Pen Fold Edition right over here, and drawing is great. You can have a really big place to draw. And if you're wondering if the crease bothers you, not at all. As you can see, I'm able to make very precise movements over the crease. It doesn't, like, I feel it when I do this, but moving slowly, I literally don't feel the crease when doing this, like literally not at all. So if you're a big drawer, then this is a really good phone to draw with. And as you can see, we have that capacitive S Pen, like when you press down sticker. You know, same old, but and we have all the other S Pen features that we would have on the Note, such as all of this. The only problem is we don't really have anywhere to keep the S Pen. So I know Samsung has a case for it, but I didn't get that case, and this is a Tech 21 case, Evo Tint, I believe it's called. Pretty good case. Only problem is it requires double-sided tape to use, so I'm not really a big fan of that, because I usually like to take my cases off so I can clean them, but it is what it is. But overall, S Pen usage is great. It's like using S Pen on a Note, but 10 times better or 5 times better, but you just can't use it on the front display, and I'm fine with that. And the hinge, it feels really solid, feels really good. When you open and close the phone, you can keep it open literally at any angle that you want it to be open. You can flap it around, it's not gonna move much. And you could fold this 200,000 times before anything even happens. You'd have to fold this thing 100 times for the next 5 years to get to 200,000. So you really shouldn't have to worry about getting to that number. But I've seen drop tests, I've seen durability tests. This phone is more durable than you think. And I wouldn't worry too much about typing as well, because we get this cool nifty keyboard that's split to the sides, At first I thought like, who's gonna use it? But then when I actually did, it felt natural. Like, it's a bit finicky at first, because gotta get used to it a bit, how it's split to the sides. But when you do it, like, it's really not a big deal. And also people were saying, oh, look at this keyboard is really tiny. Well, take a look at this. Hello, testing, and all that. Like, I don't know, like somehow like they made it so I have really big fingers and I can still type on this thing. Like, look, testing. No, it's because the camera's in the way. But I know I'm not saying the greatest example right now, but you really shouldn't have to worry about the keyboard, because Samsung, I don't know what they did here. Like, it's just a great optimization that they did. But if you somehow don't get along with this kind of keyboard, you can always do Gboard. But I tried it as well, and I don't really like it because it covers too much screen real estate. Yeah, typing is more comfortable. And I personally like Gboard better, but I don't know, it just covers more screen real estate. Like, this is Gboard, and this is the Samsung keyboard. You be the judge. And as expected, battery life is not the best. Like, I woke up an hour and a half ago, I'm already 91%, which is not bad, but once you get into the screen on time, 40 minutes. Given the CPU that we get here, the Snapdragon 888, which is not the most power efficient, and this huge display, I would say that this isn't bad, given everything about this phone. In fact, I might even go as far as to say that the Snapdragon 888 isn't bad with power efficiency. Because if it was, I would be getting way worse battery life in my opinion. Ignore this day, because I charged the phone in the middle, as you can see over here, but this, 5 hours, 7 minutes. I did not charge the phone, here I did. I haven't really had a phone for that long, but I could get around 5 to 4 hours of screen on time, let's say. So battery life, given everything we have, not the best, but it's decent. Like, it's not terrible. It's gonna probably last you till the end of the day, if not like half the day, worst case scenario. But For me, I have chargers everywhere. Just gonna charge it. I try not to because charging too much like degrades the battery faster, but to each their own. And people are saying, oh, the cameras suck, there's no 8K video, but let's be honest, who records 8K video? Like I had the S21 Ultra and other phones that did that recorded 8K video. I never used it, like maybe once or twice, just for like the heck of it, but recording 8K is so pointless. The resolution is just too damn big. So I'm perfectly satisfied with these cameras, like it's like, of course not like this camera, like the under display camera. We all know this one sucks. But it's a very simple solution, guys. Okay. Click go there and there. And bam. And if you don't want to do that, just go here. Open the cover display, front facing camera. And there we go. Like I would say the under display camera is for just Zoom calls or other video calls like that. I don't think it has a problem with video. Very good phone for vlogging, I think. Also, I should add that the visibility outdoors in direct sunlight is great. You can see everything that's going on the screen. Yeah, the crease may be a little bit more visible, but who cares as long as you can see everything that's going on. So using this phone outside to take pictures, it's overall a very pleasant experience. Like the picture quality on this phone is pretty great. I'm sure there's phones that can take better pictures, but I'm not really a huge photographer on my phone, like as it is. But nonetheless, I've been able to take some pretty amazing shots on this phone. So if you're worried about the camera quality, then don't. Cameras here are great. So for you critics, criticizing this phone because of the under display camera, just don't. Because I would much rather have this under display camera, because watching content on this phone is just so much better that now that it's hidden. And you can't even see it unless you really look for it. Like if you're watching videos and you're focused on the video that you're watching, then you're never gonna see it. Here, take a look at this. You can see it, but just hardly. So yeah, I think this is way, way better than a punch hole. And I was kind of worried about the sound quality, but it turns out the speakers are great. So when the phone is closed, you have one speaker over here and one over here, and that way you get dual speakers. But when the phone's open and watching it like this, our speakers are still to the sides. And they're very loud and very clear and very good quality overall. So they are very nice speakers that we have here. And this phone is very, very fast. Bam, Play Store. Bam, settings. Like as you would expect, this phone is lightning fast when you're doing basic tasks. But what about gaming? And wow, this is amazing. I've never played PUBG on a phone like this before. Like, I was afraid because the screen was bigger, I was gonna see a lot more pixels. But that's not the case. It's really, really good. I've never, like, there's so much detail. And like constant 60 FPS, not a single lag or stutter. Like the gaming experience on this, it's just unreal. And this is just one game. Like, I'm not gonna test more just so I can get on with the review. But yeah, really, really good phone for gaming. And if you're worried about durability, then don't. Because if you know how to take care of your smartphones like any other phone you've had, then this is no different. Like, the only difference is that just be a tiny bit more careful with the display, don't let any sharp objects near it, fingernails as well. But for me, it's not a problem. Like, I've had this phone for about a week and there's still no scratches on the display. So like, not really that hard to take care of this phone. And you know, it's been drop tested, it's been durability tested. Nothing has really happened to this thing. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Like, I've covered pretty much all the important things about this phone. Like, I'm sure I missed a few things. If that's the case, please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this phone, and I'll be sure to help you out in the comment section. But yeah, overall verdict, should you get this phone? Well, yes and no. You see, this phone is not for everyone, but it is a very, very special device because after a decade of the same old smartphone over and over, finally you get something new. Like, when I open this phone up, I don't feel like I have a phone. I feel like I have a multimedia beast that can do phone calls and do everything that I want it to do. You know, when I'm watching videos on this phone, I feel like I'm watching videos on a brand new device that's special and, you know, just really good overall. But if you have a problem with big, heavy phones, like even when it's folded, it is heavy and like thick, and you're more of a simpleton, a simple person that just likes the regular smartphones, then yeah, this isn't for you. This is for enthusiasts, and other reviews have been saying as well, like that the better folding phone for consumers is the Z Flip 3, which I'm not really a big fan of. Like, if I want something to fold, I want to fold into something big, you know, like this. So I've only had this phone for a week, and my experience has been positive, very positive. So the phone had 94%, I believe, when we started this review. Now we're at 86. It's been almost an hour. You know, take it how you will, but I think that's pretty decent. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.